Hello, welcome to my channel. This is Rev Lorena. I'm the Old Sage. I'm Science and Mind Minister, and this is Celestial Time. The first thing I'd like to say is I'd like to send my heartfelt intention for the highest, the best outcome possible for California. I see the fires out there, and it breaks my heart to know that there's so many people, uh, all walks of people that are just without their homes, without anything, and insurance companies aren't covering very much. I know my homeowner's insurance here is through the roof, and I'm on the East Coast, so I can the devastation and the loss is just hard to watch or take in. And I send my prayers and not sympathy, because they need sympathy, but they also need power. They need us to hold them in our heart and surround them with the knowledge of the love and the light that they are, and their choices in moving forward in their life. So I release that into all it is. Um, I'm this is the new year. This is, I believe, the first video I've done in this new year. I'm still wrestling with cameras and things like that. Right now, I'm on my smallest camera. I'll get this all together as time passes. I have great faith in myself. That as is, I hope that the sound and the video quality is maybe not great, but up to stuff. Okay. I've been doing a series on the Four Simple Truths, which is what it was a download that I got, about 4 or 5 months ago now. And it came out as just a simple, basic, down to earth, well, facts, as you could call them, about who we are and how we can go forward in this time in our life. There's so many things happening. There's so many changes happening. The fires themselves, that is a representative of the change that we're seeing. Um, some are calling it apocalyptic. I don't, I don't, I don't. We are in a time of change, not just climate change. Climate change has happened many years. These are the product of us being not the greatest stewards of the earth that we should be, in building and working in places that are really probably not the best places to live and work. Um, we have to be more aware of our footsteps on this planet. And I'm not a a thumper of, oh, we got to save every animal, we got to this, we got to that. Everything is in divine order, but we also have to be much more conscious of our stewardship of this earth going forward, if we want an earth to go forward on. If not, get on the spaceship when it comes and go someplace else. I'm not a fan of Mars. I don't think that would be a place to go. I think we left there at one time, but that's a whole other story, isn't it? Anyway, I know I left off on the chapter about where we are, and I'd like to get back to that. Where are we? We're on Earth. Earth is a planet. It is a divine being. If I believe I talked about, if you stand and look at a telescope, the first time I ever saw Saturn on the telescope, I saw it breathing. I swear I did. The difference when you see something laying, you can tell whether it's alive or dead just by looking at it. You may not realize it, but you can see the life force energy emanating from it. Like I said, you may not realize you see it, but your subconscious mind detects it. And that planet was alive, and that made me go, well, if that planet could be alive, I guess Gaia, our planet, we're on a living being, and she has a mind of her own, and she uses us, and we use her to co-create this reality with, and to our consciousness has to align with her consciousness, and her consciousness now is going higher. It just astronomically, it's because we're going faster. Now that we've rounded the curve and the yuga is complete as of yesterday, they said, or something. But anyway, I think the dark night of the soul, the dark is over, and we're headed for the light again. And as we head into the brightness, things are going to be less dense, and we will be less dense. Um, the energies, many people I speak to people all over the country when I'm doing my Renaissance festivals, and so many people are saying, I just don't understand. Things are, I'm seeing things differently, or I'm getting these visions, or I'm getting these geometric things in my brain. I am seeing things differently, and some are freaking out, but most of them really know. I mean, because we all know who we are at the deepest level, which is the soul inhabiting this body, going on this adventure through this lifetime, which we, in part at least, we signed up for, and we help to choose. Just like when you go to college and you picked your majors and your minors. I mean, you wouldn't choose something you're not interested in. So you're interested in your life, get interested and more interested. The more interest you get, more you focus on the positive. Not that everything's going to be lily white and bright and sunshine all the time, but the positive is what will keep you going. It's hard in California right now to see positive there, but they're on an individual basis, one-on-one. Let's hope they all find a new, a more joyful or a joyful way of moving through life after this. This is a terrible catastrophe, but sometimes that's what it takes to get our attention, isn't it? Okay. Um, anyway, I wrote here, let's see, I wrote, the third dimension is the dimension of animated objects and duality experience. The fourth dimension is the dimension of thought and time. And the fifth dimension is the dimension of higher vibrational energy. They say we're going from the third dimension to the fifth. And I think I spoke a little what happened to the fourth. Well, I could always call the fourth dimension the white stuff between the two layers of the Oreo. Okay, the Oreo cookie. Everybody knows what an Oreo cookie is like. Sometimes you break it off and you lick the middle. Yeah. Well, you're licking the place where both sides are attached and it all comes together. Well, the middle, the fourth dimension, is where all thought resides. Time and thought are in that dimensional space, and so, we pull to ourselves that which we believe it's going to happen, or we subconsciously expect to happen. And that pattern was planted by us, in us, before we were born. And the game of life is to walk through and to catch your cues. Native Americans always talk about, the signs from spirit, the signs from nature. Well, I've always done that. I read signs and everything. Oh, this must mean. And I believe it came from hearing that as a child. Well, there's your sign for this or that. But, in Science of Mind, we talk about the healing of our physical body through our intent. Well, and we also talk about how disease is through our expectation or intent, or something on a much deeper level where we came to experience. What do you get from the disease? Do you learn more about surrender? Do you learn more about joy in every moment? The list goes on, and I'm pretty positive it's different for each individual. But, as you get older, you have to take more care of your body, but you don't have to believe that you're going to get sick because you get old. And that's instilled in almost our media instills that. Or, oh my goodness, there's something wrong. Fear porn is what I call it. I don't know how many years ago when they started being able to advertise ailments and drugs online or on the television. It just got worse and worse and worse. So people would watch those things and, oh, I've got that symptom and let me run to the doctor, and the doctor goes, oh, sure, here, you can have this pill. And, for whatever reason, I'm not saying doctors are bad, but, pills aren't always just the answer either. It's in your heart, in your mind, in your whole beingness. But getting back to the where we're in a dimensional space. And for this dimensional space, we have to have this meat suit. We move into this little teeny, uh, tiny car, and we drive it through our life, and we try to take as good care of it as we can. And and when we're done with it, we will release this car, but we still will be us. I'm a near-death experiencer person, so I don't have a doubt in my head that there's far more going on. And I practice mediumship. I'm not a professional medium. I'm a professional intuitive and a science of mind and an astrologer. But I have touched on messages from departed loved ones in the past. And they're on the other side of that Oreo, and they're trying to make sense through that gooey white stuff. And we're on this side trying to make sense through that gooey white stuff to figure out what it is. And a lot of times you get a symbol or you get just a small message, and it means so much to another person. But bottom line is there's something there doing it. That it proves the validity of more than just this lifetime, which is very comforting to almost anybody. After I had my near-death experience, I had no more fear of dying. And was a blessing. I had that, oh God, 40 years ago, maybe. Okay. Let me see. Let me jump in here to something I read about this. We are truly children of God. God is not the guy in the sky with a notebook, keeping score of what you're doing, right or wrong. That's Santa Claus. Okay. While we are on Earth, we use the creative principle to manifest what is deep in our subconscious. The thoughts in our subconscious are planted there by our soul self before we are born and collected as deep-seated beliefs after we incarnate. When we create here, what we create here has to slowly break down and die. We call it the circle of life. The tree is a twig, and then it is a giant oak, and then sooner or later it falls to the ground and becomes soil again. That's the nature of third dimension, and that's where we're playing in. Get that in your head that this isn't all there is. And then maybe the things that come along in your life, even these horrible fires, can be put in a context that are not as this is the end of everything. This is the beginning of something new. Uh, I had a vision one time, well, more than a vision, a visitor that told me duality is the illusion, but is a necessary illusion that we have here. We can see things good or bad or both. We can dwell on the good or the bad. I'm not saying poke your head in the sand and only look at the la la la, everything is good, because if you do that, then the bad energy is going to come along and smack you because you're not balancing it. It's up to you, it's up to me to balance our energy and to see with our physical eye and our intuitive eye at the same time. We're trying to get centered in our heart energy. Your heart is where we live. The soul self is heart energy, and it has to integrate with a pineal gland in our head. And, when I do chakra meditations and I do things like that, I align the head with the heart. I have a lot of different tools that I use to align your chakras. I'm a Reiki master and things like that. I do balance the energies of people. I'm probably going to be doing more of that. I've decided to work part the time in the Renaissance Festival, and part the time I'm going to be doing more with Science of Mind. I'm now on the board of the Science of Mind Center up in Richmond, Virginia. Again, I was one of the founding people of that so very long ago, or close to it. Thelma Baker Smith was the founder, and she's an amazing lady. She's still with us, and she's still going strong, 90 plus. because she is my teacher, my mentor. She 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 is the epitome of what we teach and preach. And we don't exactly preach, but I guess I do. I don't know. We're ministers. I'm a minister, but I'm a teacher more than anything else, and that's what I'm choosing to do with the rest of my time here on earth. Um, let's talk a little bit about Buddhism and the Buddha and how he figured out that everything was supposed to be the middle way. The yin yang sign is also Eastern oriented philosophy. The yin part is a black and part is a white, and the white is a black and the black is a white is in the white for the yin yang symbol. And that is a perfect example of balancing the negative and the positive to be able to create and co-create within your own circle of creative circle. I know I talked about the creative circle in the last video, how we all have one that we can use, and we're living in one. It's the same symbol as the sun symbol, but you put the yin yang symbol in your creative circle on the center, in the pin of it, the pinhead of it, and realize that you have the power to affect the light and the dark, the change that comes back and through, back and around those two sides. Okay, and that power sometimes, oh man, it's really hard. And when you're up to your ass in alligators, it's really hard to remember you came to clean the swamp. Remember that little old saying? Well, like these folks that are in California right now, they're up to their ass in alligators. It's going to take them a little while. A lot of them, even though I'm sure many of them out there are very progressive and positive thinkers, and but it's still it's going to take them a while. But once I believe most of them, many of them, know that area out there that was the seed of Science of Mind for quite a long time. That's Science of Mind was developed out there. Science of Mind was developed in the 10s and 20s, the first of the 1900, 1920, 1930. It came from the Fillmores with Unity and Ernest Holmes with Science of Mind, and their teachings were Troward and Emerson and all of these old scholars, and it's just come right up through, and it hasn't become one less bit relevant today. In fact, more so, as more people are understanding that. Some people just call it, oh, that's the law of positive attraction. Well, positive attraction is a tool in the law. Attraction is the tool that we use all the time, no matter whether you know it or not. No, it doesn't matter whether you go, oh, I'm going to use the law of positive attraction. You may be using the law of attraction right now, but you're using it negative because you're all wrapped up in fear and doubt and, oh my God, the sky is falling, we're going to have a attack from this or that. That's only adding to the probability that we will. Because the more people that buy into fear, the more people that put their valuable currency of consciousness in fear helps fear grow. I'm writing a book now called Don't Feed the Dragons. And the dragon is that fear mongering, is that almost absolute desire to feed the negative. That's the folks that sit around and just, oh, ain't it awful, and oh my God, it's terrible, and oh, this is going to happen and that's going to happen. Our coming president, if I'm correct, I'm pretty sure I am, but I'm not positive. His family was part of Norman Vincent Peale's. Vincent Peale is all about the law of attraction back at the turn of the century, and I guess they had a big church in New York City, and so his family was indoctrinated in the law of attraction. When I first heard him, I heard him claiming what it was, saying this is what it is, even when it isn't, and he says is enough, and it is, and lots of other people understand that now, and it would be really good if everybody was doing that for the good of all things instead of their own personal thing, but you can do it. You can attract. It's witchcraft. Oh my goodness, that's exactly what they teach in witchcraft. Only you go through all these rituals and dance around in the moonlight and call down an energy, make it your own, and say, and that is it. So it is, and so it is. Um, we all do it all the time. If you want to know where your trajectory is, look at your life. If you're homeless and on the street, you're probably not watching this video right now, but if you're homeless and on the street and you're not didn't choose to be there and you feel a victim of it, you will continue to do so and until you change your consciousness, and then there will be a little teeny crack in the door that opens, and you have to move your 2 feet, take it, and then another little teeny crack. I was watching something on YouTube the other day. Been watching quite a bit about the tiny house thing out in I forget where. It's one church is building all these little tiny houses, and they purchased a piece of land, and their first thing they did was just 8 by 10 sheds almost, and let the people come in, and they had a lot of habitat for humanity stuff, and they fixed them all up, and they had a dry place, they had a community kitchen, and they have a community bathhouse. Reminds me of the Renaissance, what it used to be like anyway. When I was on the road, lived on the road for 7 years by choice in an RV, and we had a Renaissance community that we'd go from one Renaissance festival to the other, and the shower house would be there, and we'd have community there. And then when that show was over, we'd go some places, they'd go other places. We'd meet some people we haven't seen in a while, but we see them once a year because they'll go to that show just, or they go to a couple. It was a beautiful and wonderful community. And I, being an Aquarian, love that community thing. Right now, I'm learning to be alone. Yeah, and that's been a kind of a challenge because I'm an Aquarian, but I've always been alone in a crowd anyway because of my I'm kind of intuitive, and I was quite an empath, and it's just easier not to have too many people around, so I'm picking up everybody's energy. But now I can kind of turn it on and off after doing it for 50 some years. But anyway, this is kind of the end of this chapter. Let me see. The next chapter is the rules of this game, how to play the game, how to manage duality in such a way as you can take advantage of the best possible outcome for your life contract. I say that all the time. I mean, the law of attraction, when it was touted around, is like you need to sit down and you need to imagine your Ferrari and you're being in it, and you imagine your house on the hill and you being in it. Oh boy, and you can do that. I was just hearing or reading somebody. He wanted to meet this woman. He wanted to meet this woman, and he did everything that went along with how you manifest and how you bring things into being, and he did meet her by chance, but he knew he was trying to meet, sorta, because she was aesthetically beautiful, and that's what he thought was important. And they had a relationship that lasted a couple of years of total misery because for whatever reason, I guess, they taught each other. So there had to be a thread of commonality with them. But if you go for the superficial, you learn about superficiality, and that's what they did in a relationship. And their couple of years of their life that was spent learning that lesson. Whereas if he'd asked for the perfect relationship, the person that he needed to meet for his joyful good, he may have just exactly learned everything from the highest good from that other experience. It certainly wasn't for nothing, but hopefully the guy will go forward and find different kind of value in relationship other than just totally ecstatic. Oh, she's beautiful doesn't mean you're going to get along. And it's like wanting a shiny red car, whereas you really need transportation that makes sense, a home that makes sense. And the tiny house movement, I'm loving it. I think that is great to help with the homeless situation because, I'm blessed to have a home, and but Spirit takes care of me all the way. I know that. I take care with Spirit. We work together. my higher self, myself. And I'm always in my right place by the right of my consciousness. And so I guess I'm doing okay, you know. But yeah, I got Moose behind me. See Moose there? He's my mascot. That's Moosey Goose right there. But yeah. So anyway, we're going to go more into the rules of the game the next time that I sign on. But for now, I wish you love, light, peace, joy. When you look out in the world, see it in a larger context. See the bigger picture. See what it's saying and what it's trying to teach you, and what it's, what you're bringing into your focus. And try not to be all one side or all the other. Remember, it's all the goo in the middle of the Oreo. So some of it's right, some of it's wrong, and some of it's good for one person, some of it's not good for that person, good for another. Uh, and don't judge so harshly other people and circumstances. Be discerning, but not judgmental. Okay? As we move forward into this next chapter of the United States and our life, let's do so with joy, love, light, peace, oneness, togetherness, all of those good things. So I say thank you so very much for our time together, and I'll see you anon. Next thing I got to do is find out